was the scene. They penned a little paper that kept our spirits keen. Not just ink on parchment, it was freedom's grand design, signed, sealed, and sacred across the test of time. It started with we, the people, bold and clear, a promise through the ages we still hold dear. Checks and balances, rights we defend. With every single line, democracy begins. Oh, it's the heartbeat of this land, with the liberty written by a careful hand. From sea to shining sea, we proudly understand. We rise, we speak, we vote, we stand, all thanks to that American plan. Yeah, the Constitution, our guiding hand. Freedom of speech, the power to pray, the right to assemble and have our say. No king, no crown, no tyrant too grand, 'cause the law of the land is by the people's hand. Sax swings, brass blares, drum rolls through, let that liberty bell ring true. It's been tested, stressed in stormy days, but the core holds strong through changing ways. Amendments came as the people grew, still one great union, red, white, and true. Oh, it's the soul of every state, a contract that history helped create for justice.
Hey there, how y'all folks doing this fine day? It's Gator here at the Cable Company. I'm so glad you stopped in to see me today. Today we got a good one here for you. The First Amendment. It's the First Amendment, issue 12-15-1791, expires never. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution prevents Congress from making laws respecting the establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise of religion, or abridging the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom of assembly, or the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. It was adopted on December 15, 1791, as one of the 10 amendments that constitute the Bill of Rights. In the original draft of the Bill of Rights, what is now the First Amendment occupied third place. The first two articles were not ratified by the states, so the article of disestablishment and free speech ended up being first. The Bill of Rights was proposed to offset anti-federalist opposition to the constitutional ratification. Initially, the First Amendment applied only to laws enacted by Congress, and many of the provisions were interpreted more narrowly than they are today. Beginning with the Gitlow versus the New York in 1925, the Supreme Court applied the First Amendment to states, a process known as incorporation, through the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. In Everson versus the Board of Education in 1947, the court drew on Thomas Jefferson's correspondence call for a wall of separation between church and state, a literally but clarifying metaphor for the separation of religions from governments and vice versa, as well as free exercise of religious beliefs that many founders favored. Through decades of continuous litigation, the precise boundaries of the mandated separation have been adjudicated in ways that periodically created controversy. Speech rights were expanded significantly in the series of the 20th century and the 21st century court decisions which protected various forms of political speech, anonymous speech, campaign finance, pornography, and school speech. These rulings also defined a series of exceptions to the First Amendment protections. The Supreme Court overturned English common law. President increased the burden of proof for defamation and libel suits. Most notably, the New York Times Company versus Sullivan in 1964. Commercial speech, however, is less protected by the First Amendment than political speech, and is therefore subject to greater regulation. The Free Press Clause protects publication of information and opinions and applies to a wide variety of media. Indiana versus Minnesota in 1931, and the New York Times Company versus the United States in 1971. The Supreme Court ruled that the First Amendment protected against prior restraint, pre-publication censorship in almost all cases. The Petition Clause protects the right to petition all branches and agencies of government for action, in addition to the right of assembly guaranteed by this clause. The court has also ruled that the amendment implicitly protects freedom of association. Although the First Amendment applies only to the state actors, there is a common misconception that it prohibits anyone from limiting free speech, including private non-governmental entities. Moreover, the Supreme Court has determined that protection of speech is not absolute. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, or to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Well, there you go. There you have it. There's a little short history. I got a bonus footage after the show. So you watch. I'm gonna color this in a little bit. Okay, I love you guys. You're one of a kind. Come on back and see me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Live long and prosper.